Buenos dias, syndicate members. How are y'all doing? That's good morning, if you don't know that already. It's Winning on Wednesday. That's right. Live from Austin, Texas, 9 a.m. Central. We're here every week. Me and my buddy Joe Trucker. We got an awesome guest
Ooh, I
for you
like that
guys
one.
again. I mean, we always have awesome guests on this show, don't we? I mean,
I,
truthfully, and
I,
that's all thanks to you.
I
Thanks to you.
appreciate
I
it.
have to learn
I
how to do
think
my gestures.
I know, right? It's like which way is it going? I will say though, shout out to anybody that's been on the show. We do have a very amazing guest this morning, which I'm super excited to bring her on. Again, shout out to anybody that's even taken the time to come out and share this information with these agents, right? And I think that's the big thing. It really is what this group is about. It's what this show is about. It's about helping people. So shout out to everybody that's been able to hop on. Merwin, did we lose you again? Man, dude, Merwin, y'all seeing this? Merwin, you still with us? There he is.
I'm here, man. I don't know what's happening with this StreamYard connection. I am banging on the Wi-Fi, hot signal, but for some reason the StreamYard's giving me some weird connection issues. I'm not sure what's going on. We might have to get the IT guy in here and do some work or something to figure that out. Sorry about that. Looks like it's popping along
You're good.
now. That's my weekly win is that my show doesn't go off the air today.
Yeah. Let's give
I'm
Tony
looking.
a
I'm
round of
I'm
applause, everybody.
projecting a weekly win.
Yeah.
Woo.
I'll tell you.
I don't get it.
Oh man.
My Wi-Fi signal is hot as hell in here. But anyway, it is what it is. We're gonna have some fun today. This
What is your
agent
weekly
that
win?
we've got
What
on the
is your
show. What
weekly
is
win
my
though?
weekly one? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right because I have a really good one actually. I have kind of it's a tender one a little bit. I have an agency that I've been working with for quite a while and I've become friends with them over the years that I help them out, with their product distribution, training, etc. And they're having they're having some difficulties at the executive management level, right? And they're having to make some decisions and restructure things and part ways. And obviously, that's a pain in the ass when you have to kind of when you have to do that to your business, right? When there's a
Right.
disruption like that in your business. So my win is that I've been able to come through for them and instill confidence in them that, hey, I get that you're having some changes up here at the top level, but don't worry, I got you covered to make sure that your continuity of business is slick. I'll handle your
Yep.
contracts. I'll just fill these documents out for me. I'll run with it. You guys can calm down, keep going out there writing business. Everything's going to be easy peasy. Let me handle
Yep.
this for you. So that's to be able to, bring that experience and have that confidence, and I can help them maintain their continuity of business. So nobody's pockets are going to get broken. Everybody's going to be able to keep doing their job and their business as usual. So that
Yep.
always feels good when you can come through
Yep.
for someone like that you've been working with. So that would
Hey,
definitely be my win.
when you give, you get, man. I tell you. And I mean, sometimes the get isn't anything that's like physical or tangible or whatever. It's like sometimes it's just like it's one of them, heartstrings hitting, right? I like something for me. You guys know, anybody, I'm a yellow, right? That's always been so big for me is like, man, there's nothing better than that. And that's why I love even like coaching and stuff like that. I'll get off my
That's your
soapbox now.
yellow. That's your little
Yeah.
yellow violin that I'm
Is that
playing for you.
real quick? My
But
weekly win before we bring on our amazing guest. So our Texas Redwood squad, which we're playing again this weekend. So this is the first time we've all been able to get. This is the D team. This is not the E team. It's the D team that we've been able to get everybody together in like 2 months since the last championship we won. And so we go to the state tournament here in Texas. We beat the number one D team in the country day one. We beat the number one team out of Arkansas, but then we lost in the championship. But it was a win because we were not supposed to be in the championship. Hey, I'll take an L to the number one team in the country for our first game back. We still got a
you weren't
bat.
even supposed to be in it. What do you guys get, like a lucky draw or a buy or
No,
something?
no, people basically were doubting us, man. They were like, "Oh, who are these guys? Like, they're
Okay.
not going to do anything
Oh,
because it's a big state tournament."
people
But
didn't
we were able to.
think you could be in it, but then
Correct. Yep.
obviously y'all showed them what's up.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So that's my
You guys are
that's my
killing
win.
that
I always have
softball field.
softball wins, so it's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Well, when you
Yep.
have, two championship teams that you sponsor, I guess it makes it pretty easy to have wins because if one loses,
Right.
the other one's probably winning. So you can always have somebody winning, right?
Hey, marketing. Which I'll tell you guys who we're about to bring on. Get ready. Who we're about to bring on. Her marketing, some of her marketing strategies, and I've literally been in it firsthand, are amazing. You guys, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily think of doing it like this, but she's been able to really capitalize on it. I know it's been years since I've been in it, so I'm sure it's even better now. But real quick, y'all, hey, if you can, even like, let's see, I see the first person here. Let StreamYard view your comments real quick. It's in the description of the actual of the post. Okay, so make sure and just click that. Take it 5 seconds just so we can see who you are that's commenting. Christian, actually, I think that's you. If you could, man, I appreciate it. But without further ado, again, y'all, this guest is a very special guest, special definitely to me because she is who gave me a shot within the insurance industry, which is crazy that it was over 8 years ago that I started as an intern in her office, and she taught me the ropes. She literally, I mean, I credit a lot of what I do and how we Redwood and everything because of the processes, really because of the morals and how to do business that she instilled in me. So without further ado, y'all, let's give a nice round of applause to Miss Tracie Bibb.
What's up?
She got
Thank
22-year veteran, right? You're a 22-year veteran of the insurance. You're a 22-year veteran.
It's something like that. We don't need to say that out loud.
Yeah.
been with Allstate for almost 18 years now, but yeah, been in insurance longer than that. So,
Right.
Wow. Well, that is definitely a pleasure to have someone of your stature on the show. So thank you for joining us. What we usually do is we just have you kind of introduce yourself a little bit, let everybody know who you are, kind of what you're doing, where you're from, kind of what you're up to. And then we always like to have you include a weekly win. So if you got something that's cranking out for you this week, please let them know. But the floor's yours for a bit.
all right. Well, I'm not always good about talking about myself. So Tracie Bibb from St. Louis, Missouri, where we have the best hockey team in the world and pretty darn good baseball team too. Especially if I'm talking to some Dallas people, right? Love my sports. Yeah, love my sports. Love the area. We now have an agency in St. Louis and one in Springfield, Missouri. We are captive to Allstate. Have been for a long time. I have worked for a couple other companies, so I've done some different stuff. But we've been with Allstate for a long time. Have seen a ton of success with Allstate. Really, really love what I do. Love my agencies. Love Allstate. So all that kind of stuff. Gosh, what else would you even want to know about me? My wins. I'll give you 2 wins. I know you do one, but I'll give you 2. One, I got my holiday Mickey Christmas tickets this week, so I'm excited about that. I love my Disney, so we're going down there, and they opened it up so I could buy it. And then 2, I'm floored that Joe thinks as much as he does of me. It really, he took a job with my agency, and it's all him. He's done an amazing job. I'm speechless, which Joe knows that doesn't happen very often. Of all the nice things that Joe gives me credit for, I really don't deserve it. But thank you so much. That is so sweet of you.
No, and I think, but it really, and that's why I loved having you on the show too, right? And I think, don't ever forget where you come from, right? And I think, Tony, you know this very well, and it's a lot of agents that are watching this too, right? Like a lot of y'all have maybe made pivots, right? I always use the word pivot away from like where you maybe start, but I've never forgotten where I come from. And I think that's something that's super important. Really appreciate everything that Tracie did. Now, this was the first question I wanted to ask you, because this was the first question you asked me in my first interview with you. And I literally got asked the question the past like 2 podcasts I've been on, they asked me this. And I'm like, well, it's funny you say that, because I've been talking about this, because this is what my first boss ever asked me before I even started. Why insurance? Right? I remember I was sitting in your back office, and you were like, why? Like, why do you want to do insurance? And I was 19 at the time. So that was a really good question for me, because I'm like, and I think it's important for people, again, anybody that's newer listening to this, why, right? And I think that's, I was talking to Johnny Nitafan about this. The work ethic is you can be a baller, you can work hard, but without the why, I think the work ethic, is diminished very quickly. So why insurance, Tracie? Like, where does that come from? Did you have a dad like me, like where I grew up around insurance, or like, just give us that why?
Oh boy. And here is the back office that we had that meeting, and it does look different from when you were there. But yeah, so the why insurance, gosh, that has changed over the years. Initially, it was because my husband wanted to open a business, and he wanted to do sandwiches for like Jimmy John's before Jimmy John's was big. And I'm like, I don't want to sit around making sandwiches. In fact, I don't want to do a business. But my husband pushed me into it. He was the one that really wanted to do a business. He wanted to do something. I said insurance because I was already licensed. So it just so happened that I was already licensed. The reason now for me why insurance is because I love it. I have actually seen it in action. Everything from my mom having a tornado and it actually having to pay to help fix her house to clients having fires. We just paid out a claim for $250,000 just recently because somebody hit another individual that they killed. So that kind of stuff now is the why for me. That and to see people, it could be any industry, right? It doesn't have to be insurance, but for me to see my team members grow, to see them, they don't have to stay here. They can move on like you did, Joe, and do so much more for themselves. That's more the why now. That drives me is to see people succeed, to see, we have our main focus and it's to make lives better. And that's the why now. It's to make my lives better, to make my team members' lives better, to make my clients' lives better. That's the why for me now. A long answer, but it's
your
changed.
pugs' lives. Don't forget the pugs' lives better too.
I know. Who's currently sleeping on a unicorn pug? So yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. And I think, that's such a good why. And I think a lot of people resonate with that. I also, so you brought up the word, success and really kind of what y'all's focus is. And I want to ask that question as well as kind of like really where are y'all at now in your agency? Where are you kind of finding those successes? I know that like when I was there, the giveaways, and I don't know if maybe you want to talk a little bit about that and how you were able to plug into your community to then tickets to quotes to all that, maybe kind of share some of that process. Cause I always thought that was, pretty unique. Not a lot of agencies doing that.
We do a ton of stuff around marketing, right? One of the biggest things that we do is we partner with a local radio station here. Actually, we now partner with 3 stations. So I do live spots on ESPN. So I came in and initially said, my Blues, I love my Blues hockey. I love my Cardinals. So I actually now do live spots with ESPN radio where we talk a little bit about hockey, talk a little bit about Cardinals, but then tie in to needing great insurance. That also ties into when I have available tickets to give away for Cardinal games or Blues games. I mean, St. Louis is just such a huge sports town. So giving those things away, and, we can do it with all kinds of stuff because I don't want to forget the people who got me here, right? All my clients. So to find those things on Facebook that you can do to also say, hey, if you refer to us, these tickets are available to you. So not only the whole bringing new people in that are just out there in whatever land, but then also rewarding and taking care of the clients that got you there. Because a lot of times they'll look at it and be like, well, how come I can't get the tickets? Well, you can refer to us and we'll make sure that you're entered to win tickets. So we do a lot with tickets, or, even we've done, to celebrate our anniversary in business, we'll do like a whole week of stuff. And, like we've given away lotto tickets for that, enter to win, share us, like us, just all kinds of stuff, refer to us. Just change it up as we can. If something seems like that's what we want to attain that week, if we want to just grow our footprint, then we'll do something off of growing our footprint. If we want to get more business, we'll do something off of referring us or getting a quote from us, those kind of things. Just whatever, of course, is allowed in your state, because each state's going to be different about the things you can do. But that's what we'll do for it.
How long have you been doing the radio spots?
Oh gosh, probably now about 12 years we've been doing it.
How long did it take before you started to see that it was paying off?
It probably took about, they always say stick with something for 90 days. It was truly about 90 days. It took us anywhere from 3 to 6 months to start getting leads from it. The biggest trigger that changed things about getting the leads is the person we were working with finally started saying text the word quote to, and they send out their texting number, and that really helped start driving it. Now we are just like a part of their group. They call themselves the weirdos on the one station. So, we're a weirdo, and that resonates with their people, because we'll literally get people that are like, so-and-so sent me, we're friends. I'm like, I know you're not friends with this person. But the bad thing is, the good and bad thing is, I can't even go to a doctor's appointment without somebody being like, oh, are you Tracie Bibb from the radio? I'm like, I'm actually not from the radio. I came for that. But yes. And can
But
we go
yes,
ahead and do
but
the
yes.
doctory stuff now and
Right.
not so much the insurancy stuff? But so it works.
You're
It
becoming
totally
a bit of a
works.
personality now. I mean, after 12 years, I would think so, probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
we're kind of they've really done a great job because we also do a lot of like quote for the cause with partnering with the station, and that's a little bit how we got started in the whole radio thing. Is the guy who we insured the personality, and he was he was doing a breast cancer thing, and I said, hey, we could partner with you and do quote for the cause. You know, if you tell people to get quotes from us, we'll donate to your cause. And he was fighting with another radio person here in town from a country station. He's a rock station, and it kind of took off. So, and then since then, we always do these different things where we quote for the cause with them, and we'll show up on site. Joe went to a lot of those things where we show up on site to get quotes, but it really gets us in the community, and it does twofold. It gets my name out there, but it also shows that we do things in the community by donating money to the local causes that are going on.
Yep. Yeah, I think one of my coolest ones was when I went out to Scott Air Force Base. That was an ESPN one, I think. And it was crazy. So a good friend of mine, Brett Jadvani, who I literally went to like grade school with, and then he moved to Florida. Like I hadn't seen him in probably 6-7 years. The guy's literally stationed on Scott Air Force Base, and he like walks out. I can't remember the term for where they go and buy food and stuff on base.
Mess hall.
Yeah, mess hall. Or I can't remember what's the store called on base.
Commissary?
Yeah,
Yes.
is it commissary? The dude literally walks out in uniform, and I'm like, yo, Brett, like, what the hell, man? I was like, yo, what are you doing here? He goes, dude, I'm here for I've been here for 3 years. I'm here for another 3 years because he had a 6-year stint. And it even actually squirrel moment. But then he like got stationed in Texas the month after I moved to Texas, which was wild. But no, I love that. And so, okay, so with that, right? So now we're talking lead gen. You've definitely been able to, become a person. We'll call it to coin Coach Burt is a person of interest, definitely within St. Louis, right? And obviously now getting down into Springfield, and I'm sure you're probably ramping things up down there too. So what do you do with all these leads, right? Let's talk about that. So do you just, you feed your people leads, right? Or do you have kind of like, maybe what is the structure behind, once we get it in, what does that look like once it comes to the office?
Yeah. So our team, we basically have rotation days on the calendar. So we have a main person and then backup people so that if a lead comes in, it's a hot lead, they get that first opportunity, who's ever on calendar that day. And then if they're on the phone with the lead already, then it goes to the next person, the next person, the next person. So we just rotated, old school through a calendar. And you have part of being with this agency is you have that opportunity to get those warm leads that come in. You're also working a whole bunch of other leads, but you have those opportunities too for the warm leads.
Yep. That's good. And hey, sometimes we got to go back to the basics, right, y'all? Like it doesn't have to have all this automation. And now again, don't get me wrong, I love automation, but you don't need to basically have everything automated, right? Like it literally, y'all, you can still use a calendar and, oh, hey, it's my calendar day. So I get the first shot at the leads. So I love that you said that because we don't have to overcomplicate it, right?
It's nice, simple processes.
Are you working
For
with
me,
multiple
it's
radio
all about
stations?
processes. I do. So I'm on 3 stations here in town. ESPN, a station called The Point, and then also a country station. So spread it out, all kinds of different
And
stuff.
are those all live spots, or do you just have commercials for some of them? Or
So I will not do a station that the DJ does not talk about us on a live spot. And then ESPN is the only one that they actually call me twice a day, and I do a live spot with them. If I'm not available, then they'll just kind of do something themselves. But I don't do any kind of canned commercial. It is always the DJ, and the DJ talks personally about how they insure with us, which they all pretty much do. I think there's only one who hasn't moved over to us yet. So it is a very real, this is what it's like doing business with Tracie. This is what you'll get when you call her office. She is my agent. Yeah, that I won't do it any other way because that just to me feels like it gets the better return on investment than a canned ad.
Right.
So
like
I said, these people
it.
think they're friends. I'm friends with so-and-so. They told me to call you. Okay, you're not. but
You
cool.
listen to the show. Yeah, right.
Yep.
No, and I think, I love you dropped a nugget there, y'all. Hopefully you guys heard this. she has these different types of stations on purpose, right? Like think about who's listening to ESPN, think about who's listening to the rock, like The Point, which is, rock, or I can't remember what all it is now, right? And then country, right? And so like being able to be diverse, even on the radio, right? I'm sure has been really cool to see, even just in your clientele, and how that, has really kind of changed your book. Now I wanted to pivot a little bit here. So we're talking, so that's all basically generating new business, all that stuff, right? And obviously you've been able to build, a really nice sizable book of business. But if I remember correctly too, that you have also gone through maybe something in the acquisition space. I know back when that was one of my first jobs too, was scanning in that guy's book into eAgent. And that was fun. Hey, any of y'all ever say you've been an intern, I promise you ain't scanned all these files into eAgent like I did. It took me like a year to actually knock all those out. But I wanted
That's why
you to
there's no
kinda,
filing cabinets behind
yeah,
me
right.
anymore.
there's more space back there now. But I wanted to kind of highlight some of that. Acquisitions like super hot right now. Even again in the well, actually maybe even more hot in the captive space than it is on the independent side, because there's a lot of moves going on. What was the kind of the reasoning behind? I mean, obviously we know buying cash flow, right? But then also kind of, what did that look like? Was it a crazy difficult process? Was it, man, I'm so glad I did that? Would there be anything that you would change in kind of that, again, acquiring a book, or what you look for type of thing?
Yeah. So we started completely from scratch. We were our very first policy about 2008. We got the chance to purchase an agency, and had we not been able to do that, we probably would have been out of business, just because in the captive market that we were in with Allstate, we were taking tons and tons and tons of rate. It was really hard. We grew with home. We were taking back-to-back rate increases on home, so it was a hard space. Got lucky, and we were able to purchase a book. That was the ones you were scanning a bunch of policies in for. We learned early on in buying a book that, for me, what I think is great, because you're going to lose a certain percentage of the book you buy. And some agents will just be like, we're not going to say anything, kind of keep it quiet and just move along. To me, you have to go after and retain those people, right? That's money. You just bought money. Why would you let that stuff walk out the door? So we put a lot of processes in place to welcome people when we have purchased a book of business. And that typically makes our retention go up, as opposed to down when we bought. So that would be one of the big things that I would say. Don't be afraid of the people that you bought. Welcome them with open arms. Do a nice letter, from the agent that's possibly retiring, or even if it's a bad situation they're going, then do a nice letter. Hey, so thank you so much for so-and-so, but we are now taking over the company trusts me to take this over, and we're here to help you. And then reach out to those people. I can't tell you the number of cross sells we get off of that book of business.
Right.
That we buy, even if they have home and auto. Well, they're sitting right there for an umbrella policy. We sell a ton of umbrella policies to those clients. If you can get 3 policies in your book of business, you've just increased your retention to 93%, 90 to 93%. Do it. Touch those people. Talk to those people. It's right there for you.
Right.
What I would maybe, and I've had everything with the gamut of buying books. I've bought great books that are beautiful, and I have had books, being a captive agent, that have been ceded to me that have been really bad situations. I would think probably twice sometimes about the really bad situations that can be ceded to you. Yeah, sometimes it's more, if you're a captive agent, I don't know how it works on the brokerage side, but if you are an agent like that, they give it to us on a reduced commission. And I think I would question taking some of that again, just because it does take a lot of time and energy if you're an agent like I am, where I'm very proactive on trying to hug those people and see what I can do for those people. Other than that, if the opportunity arises to buy, I'm almost always for buy, unless you're getting to the point, because at some point, Joe, maybe Tony and I are closer to that point, but at some point you think about, what is the end game, right? So
Tony's face.
Sorry, Tony.
I should have taken a picture of that. That was funny.
But you start thinking about, what's this going to look like? Do I want to buy something and 5 years from now I'm getting ready to retire? That's probably the other consideration. I don't know that I'd want the debt or whatever it might be if I'm going to retire soon. So that's kind of, I'm in that ball game now, where I've got one more book that I think I'm going to buy, and then I'm not sure that I'm going to buy anything else, because I'm going to be selling to somebody like a Joe to take this thing over. So,
what,
but I can't.
when you're looking at buying a book, what do you look for? I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, when you're looking at
No,
buying a
you're
book, like what are some of the points that you're really wanting to nail down to make sure this is a good buying decision or this is not a good buying decision?
yeah. I look at loss ratio sometimes. Not sometimes. I look at loss ratio all the time. Loss ratio can have a an effect for me. I don't know if people look at it or give it as much credit as they possibly should, because that will help you understand the person's underwriting capability. Did they really underwrite this book well, or were they doing some funky stuff in it? You're going to have things that are just losses you can't control anyway. But if it seems out of the normal for your industry or for your area, then that's something I would kind of question. The other thing that I would question or that I look at is it growing versus not growing? If it's growing, if it's not growing, doesn't mean that I'm not going to buy it. It just is going to change my offer on it. If it's retaining, if it's not retaining, again, it doesn't necessarily mean I won't buy it. It'll just change how I offer and how I have that conversation. Something that I look for that I think some people don't think about is I want to know about their requotes, their win backs. Have they done good processes and good data collecting on win backs and requotes? Like, do they have a database of those things? Because I don't want to just buy your book. I want all those leads. Because if I can immediately take over that book and then go after all of those leads that you have that you've paid for your own marketing or that you've lost, why wouldn't I want that as well? So I'll look at that. I'll look at employees a little bit and try and understand them. But I would say for the most part, there hasn't been a book of business that I bought yet that I've maintained their team. So sometimes just old bad habits are hard to break from teams. So, and we run things a little bit differently. It's good. I mean, like, I love my agency, but some people, it might not be for everybody because we do a lot of accountability. So.
Right.
Is there
that's good.
Is there a loss ratio that's kind of a prime number? They're like, I'm really looking for this one. When I see that loss ratio, I'm like, I know I'm in the money. Or is there kind of an,
just as long as it's below 50%. If I start seeing things that are getting up to 60, up to 60 and something percent, but could be different captive versus brokered too, For us, seeing it below 50 is a big deal for me.
Oh yeah. And that's, and I think that goes on both sides too. I think, that is really important. I also love that you talked about the lead part, because I don't think a lot of people talk about the databases that are coming with the book of business either. I think they literally look at just the book of clientele. But I love that you said that too, because we're huge on that too. I'm a freaking data Nazi. I mean, it's like, you better, if you quoted it, you better freaking save that information, because just because we didn't, and I preach on this a lot, is just because we didn't win it now, they just didn't need us yet. But I promise eventually they will need us. We will be calling them. And I think that's also too where you've always been able to really separate yourself and really your agents, your producer, everybody in the office is y'all are the ones that are actually following up and calling people back or sending out handwritten. Are you still doing, maybe talk a little bit, are you still doing handwritten notes, all that good stuff?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean,
it's funny you say that, because we have a sales meeting every Tuesday, and I just talked about that for our win backs and requotes. I'm like, you guys, make sure you write on that stuff you're printing off. Hey, give me a call. Make sure you're handwriting your envelopes when you send those things off. Yeah, we absolutely do that. If you want, send a postcard that's handwritten, because it's going to capture somebody's attention a little bit more than just the printed stuff.
Yep. And that's it. I mean, that's really, and Tony, obviously that's a little bit more prominent, I would say, in Medicare too, which I'm sure you've done your fair share of mailers and all that good stuff. So I'm sure you could probably agree with some of those points. Just that little extra touch, right, goes a long way.
Yeah, we currently do handwritten thank you cards, birthday cards, holiday cards. Ultimately, I'm probably going to outsource it still to send notes, because they do it in your handwriting. You give them your handwriting sample and they do it, but I just haven't pulled that trigger yet. But that's probably on the horizon. That's good. But yeah, no, again, I wanted to highlight that. And it's the things that you're doing that other people aren't doing, right? Whether it's handwriting stuff or whether it's the calls. I mean, how many people here put in the comments if you're actually following back up with your people, even after that first requote cycle, right? That's my favorite. Okay, hey, maybe you do follow up with them, maybe depending on what policy it is, right? Policy type, how long it is. Maybe you are following up with them. And what if you quote it again and you still don't win the business? I literally have some people. I mean, I know Marcel Wally. I know this chick. I have been following. I really want her account. She's got a nice auto account and it's like $12K premium.
And it's and I tell you, to this day, I still haven't won it. And I've been just a few dollars off each time. And she's like, hey, look, I appreciate you, but like, it's just, nope, not yet. And so I've been following up with her for probably, I mean, since Redwood's been open. So over 4 years, I've been every renewal, I'm hitting her up. I'm sending her refreshed quotes. And she goes, hey, you are the only, but here's the thing, even though she's not my client, like she appreciates like that. And I think a lot of people, there's a lot of oversight in that they actually do appreciate that. The follow-up
Right.
that, man, this person actually remembered to call me back. Like that, or
She's
did.
probably rooting for you, right? Because of your follow-up. Like she's probably rooting.
Yep.
She's like, man, I can't wait till this dude can actually come in and save me some money so I can switch and get a real insurance agent. But I'm not going to overpay him just to get a service. But I don't know.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I always say you have to follow up because people are lazy. If you don't follow up, they're just lazy. They're not. You could be saving them $10,000 and they're lazy. You just have to follow up with them and tell them how easy it is to switch. But
takes 12 touches to get a sale, right?
Right.
On average
of that. Yep. So you said this, perfect. This is a great segue. Because you talked about saving money, right? And so again, with Tracie being in that captive world, I mean, being able to sell on not just price, but on value, right? Because there's definitely, it's a whole different model, captive versus indie. And again, to each their own. I still give a lot of credit to Allstate and everything that I kind of learned. And really without that, I don't know if I would be the independent that we are today without knowing that, right? So shout out to Cap. Like, this is not bashing or anything like that. But you talked about price, Tony. Like, man, can you just save me some money so I can switch over to you? Tracie, I would love for you to kind of elaborate, because you said, oh, we sell a ton of umbrellas. When I hear umbrellas, I hear, shout out Craig Wiggins, I hear, oh, value, like, right, like rounding out accounts, really educating your clients, and making it not about price. Can you talk about some of that and how you're able to do that within your agency, especially with maybe a little bit more of limited options when it comes to products?
Yeah, because my response to Tony's not going to be, it depends. Do you want to save money now or save money at the time of a claim?
Right.
Because when we talk and look through stuff as a captive agent, we've become very savvy on, at least for my agency, on what other people are offering. Right. I probably know a lot of the ins and outs of other companies' policies that most people don't know, even if you're a broker and you sell a bunch of them, because I need to know what's the pros and cons of both, right? And I'm going to have a really good conversation with you on the pros and cons of both. I'm not afraid to tell you, hey, over here at Travelers, you've got better dwelling coverage, but over here at Allstate, if you have both your auto and your home with us, we're going to waive a deductible, or you have this death indemnity that you just aren't going to get someplace else. I will find the niches that we have. I'm going to listen to hot buttons all the time. But no, we are not going to be the cheapest. There's times we are, but for the most part, we're just not going to be the cheapest. Even in my radio ads, I don't typically say, hey, you're going to save a whole lot of money, call me. I say and talk about how we're going to make sure that you're covered right. I will bring up to a client and use things like the $250,000 we just paid out for somebody. Why do you think you need that? Because I don't know. Do you have that in your bank account? Do you want to pay that out of pocket yourself? So we might be a couple of bucks more, but you're going to get an agent that you can call directly. I'm right here in your neighborhood. There's a fire. I am on your front door to help you clean this thing up. And then, not to say the brokers aren't at all, but that's what we use more as a captive agent to sell ourselves a little bit differently. If you have a change you want to make, you call us directly. So we will find every angle possible, but a lot of ours does go around coverages. Let's sit down and really have a good coverage conversation and take it off of price. We'll do that too with reviews. Like, I'm not going to call somebody at their renewal. I'm going to call them throughout the year for a review so that we're not talking price. We're talking about coverages. And part of that coverage then conversation goes into getting that umbrella policy in place to make sure that you are covered right. So you'll end up spending a little bit more probably with me than you will with a broker or somebody else that's doing a lot of price conversations, but that's what works for us, and it has. And I think, and not to kind of segue to something else, but I think that kind of goes with your choices between, it doesn't matter if you're a broker or captive agent. What you have to do is just decide in that realm of here's your guidelines, here's what you need to, here are the rules of the road, right? For whatever you are, broker, captive. Now you have to figure out, if you want to be successful in that, how do you play within those rules? and create your business to conform to what's going to make you most successful. It doesn't matter. You can be hella successful as a broker and hella successful as a captive agent. You just have to learn your rules and develop your business to meet those rules and exceed them.
Absolutely. And I said, so there's two things there. Know your products.
There's a lot,
right? Y'all do this, and this goes for, and I hope if there's some life agents, everything she just said also applies to life and health space as well. It's not just PNC talk. Like, know your products, know your competitors' products, right? Like, I mean, you're going out to compete and you have no idea what they're about to bring. Like, you show up to the court and they got a team of 10 and you got one, right? Because you didn't do research and you didn't know like the products and everything that they offer. I love that you said that, but also, the big thing was, oh shoot, man, I lost it. What was it?
You're getting old.
No, I know. It was so good because you, I'll shut up. I freaking lost it, man. Oh, it's going to be so good though. Okay. I remember now. I remember. Facts tell, stories sell, right? And so you talked about that claim. If you go through that testimony, is so powerful to be able to help sell your product, right? And it also shows your product works. I think that's the other big thing. So again, I wanted to say that because it made me think, hey, life and health people, if you're watching this, that also 100% applies to you. Talk about that benefit, that check that you get to go provide to somebody when they lose a loved one, right? Whether it's final expense, whether it's whatever it is, right? Like those stories really will help you sell not only yourself, but your product. It works. So I just wanted to, I caught that. I was like, oh, what was that again? But I thought that was really good. So
I was really appreciating how she explained the difference between selling on price versus selling on value a bit, right? And when she was talking about that, when you were talking about that, Tracie, I'd immediately jumped in my brain and was like, that actually permeates, it seems like it permeates Allstate's message and culture in total, right? Because if you look at the commercials on TV, most of them are always involve people that are in a really bad situation. They're at claim, right? Almost every Allstate commercial shows someone that's at the time of claim, house is wrecked, cars wrecked, whatever. You're in good hands with Allstate. On the alternative, who's your competitor that does nothing but sell on price all the time? Say 15% by switching to Geico. So that's their entire message, which when you think about that explains they have no value. No offense, Geico. I mean, I did leave Geico and I switched to Progressive.
No
and I saved a ton of money by leaving Geico, just to put that out there. I saved a lot of money by switching away from Geico. But I mean, and so you think about that as an agent, right? If you're marketing, what is your marketing message? Are you marketing on nothing but price because you have no value or service? Or are you marketing on the service you got regardless of the price that you can bring to the table? So great message there. And it just kind of clicked with it. That actually permeates both of those corporate cultures 100%.
Well, and with that
it
too,
does go back to how you want your office set up. Like you could even be a captive Allstate agent and just go after price. It's really got to be on fundamentally what goes to the heart of your office and how you want to run it and manage, because you need to have a focus within your agency. And if your focus is price, well, then develop your way of getting people with price. If it's about value or whatever, then just develop it around that.
Yep. And I think another thing is, when you're getting these leads coming in, when people are doing business, right? They're not doing, I think you've done a really good job at this. And this goes for anybody, right? And I talk about this a lot, is that they're doing business with Tracie, with the Bibb agency, not Allstate, right? And I think that's the importance of branding yourself. Products are products, and know your products. But like a lot of how Redwood, people are not doing business with Redwood Agency Group, right? It's what you're putting out there. That message, what you're preaching. Like people are coming to do business with Tracie because of the value, because of, hey, I really want to make sure you're protected because of this. And I think that's, especially again, any newer agents that are catching this live, catching this on a replay on the YouTube, Spotify, whatever it is, hear that. It is extremely start branding yourself. Right. And then I will say, if the product ever changes, and again, this happened, I've seen this, man, life and health space is freaking the wild, wild west. Your product ever changes or this, or this, guess what? It's people still do business with you, not all the stuff that's backing you. Right. And so I love that you said that. And that just even, kind of goes back to the radio, getting your message out there, and not just keeping. And so let's maybe kind of go back to that. Is there anything else that you're doing outside of that? Are you paying? Do you have live transfer leads coming in? What else are you doing outside of the marketing type of stuff to kind of fill the pipeline? Just curious.
Yeah, Yeah, and actually kind of twofold. So have a ton of stuff in marketing, but to piggyback on what you said, we're not like we're a captive agent, and we're not though. I'm not that small agent anymore. So you know, like Joe, when you were with me, it was what you, me, Courtney, Laura, right?
Yep.
Now
And Shelby.
we're in, yeah, and Shelby. Now we're in two different parts of the state, right? We're in St. Louis and we're in Springfield. We've got 2 pugs instead of 1 pug that's in the office. They don't talk to me every day. You know, rarely am I answering the phone anymore because I am running the business. I'm working on the business, not in the business. I've got a ton of team members. We got 12 people now that are on phones,
Awesome.
that kind of stuff. So part of that whole, when you go back to that, being their agent and their friend, then what I do is I friend people on Facebook. I keep my Facebook though very vanilla. I'm not going to get into too much political or religious stuff on it. And I'm not going to get too much into touting what I have or don't have or things like that. I try to just keep it where I'm your friend. I want to build a relationship where you know me, because you're not necessarily always going to talk to me. Also, that's where though I lean on the radio stuff so they can hear my personality come through. I have done some recorded live spots on the on some of the other stations that I don't actually answer the phone. But my whole point is to try and keep it where they do know me as the agent and not just the team, so that it does have that relationship to build. To go to your marketing thing, yeah, we do mailers, we do live transfers, we do requotes, win backs, cross sells, the radio stuff, Facebook stuff, gosh, internet leads, different things that Allstate has set up for us to be able to. We have a whole lead management system through them. So we are doing everything we can to get leads in the agency.
What's your marketing budget per month? I'm curious. Do you know? Even a ballpark? Is it too much or is it too little or what?
No, it's a lot. We're up to about 11,000-12,000 depending on the month. So
so 10,000 plus a month on marketing, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's freaking baller.
We're a little bit bigger.
Right.
Than we used to be. Yeah. But we measure everything. Know what the numbers are, know where we're getting things. If something has to be dropped, if something has to be boosted. Yep. Know your numbers. It's a hard thing to do sometimes when you're first into it. But if you can learn numbers, know numbers, that will help you out tremendously.
Yep. That's good. Well, I know we got about another minute or two. Tony, I don't know if you've got any kind of last questions here before we let Tracie share where people can find her or anything, but if you got anything to wrap it up.
She said a few comments, and I don't want to get this back out into the weeds again, but I'll just leave off right with what she left with, which was know your numbers. I assume the numbers in the I don't know anything about PNC. I know I buy it, and I hope I never need it. Please don't hit my car. Please don't get in a wreck. I don't want to have to call Joe. I like to occasionally tease Joe by building fires
don't hit my
really
loss
close
ratio.
to my house.
We're talking about loss ratio.
Don't
be hitting my books, man.
So I would assume the numbers, as far as the metrics that you're looking for in your business, are fairly similar between the life and health space and the PNC when it comes to running your business. But as an agency owner in the PNC world, like, what are some key numbers that you're always watching and just kind of keeping your finger on the pulse of?
Probably one of the big ones that I look at that I don't know if everybody digs into is spin ratio. So what are you losing each month that you have to write to catch up to have you flat? And then what do you need to go above and beyond to grow? So part of that would be looking at, of course, your retention, and then also looking at how many items you're writing a month to get there. So, when we dive into it each year, I start looking at that, what is my spin rate right now? What do I want to, by the end of next year, by the end of 3 years, by the end of 5 years, do I want this agency to be at? How am I going to then back into how many quotes do we need? How much do we need to spend in marketing to get us to still be growing at the rate that I want to grow by? So I would say spin is probably one that we look at a lot, that I don't know everybody digs into, or maybe it's different for different agencies, but we definitely look at what are we losing on that back end to make sure that, if I can retain those people, I paid a lot to get them on. I want to retain those people. So I'm constantly looking at retention in all different areas. What's my auto? What's my home? What's my umbrella retention? those kind of things, and how can we dive into them deeper. So that then also leads me into, what is my bundled rate? You know, who has both their home and auto, who's missing an umbrella? How can we get deeper into those households? So that's another number that I look at quite a bit. And of course, our quote numbers and those kind of things. How much are we quoting?
How many quotes do I? Yep. How many quotes? How many calls? How many quotes? How many sold? How many are falling off? Right, that we got to replace and then grow. I love that you said that. I've never heard it called the spin rate or the spin ratio. So, but it makes sense. I like that.
Yeah,
that's good.
could be an Allstate thing, but yeah, that's what we look at all the time is spin rate. Is what do I have to make up, and then to just get even, and then start growing.
Cover my losses and grow again. I like it.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Man, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. It's been a huge pleasure to meet you finally, because I've heard so many wonderful things about you. I'm a good friend of Joe's. I hang out with him on the regular, unfortunately, but he won't stop calling me. So it's nice to finally put a face and get to meet you and kind of understand where some of his expertise comes from. Because as you probably already know, you trained a killer sitting over there in the corner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he works out of the 7-Eleven office at 3 a.m. But
hey, come on, my
does
lighting's a little bit
heck of
better.
a
I got
job.
a new camera. It's like now you can like tell that when my office gets hot. I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, freaking somebody turn the air down back there, man. But no, anyways, seriously, like, thank you so much, Tracie. I really appreciate it. This was amazing. I hope y'all got some, and anybody, if you're catching the replay too, don't hesitate to comment. We can circle back around and answer. But Tracie, where can people find you? Where can they follow you at? Kind of give us a little shout out there.
Well, I'm on Facebook, Tracie Bibb. It is spelled Tracie because mom had to be different. Bib like a baby's bib with an extra B, but I'm out there on Facebook. More than happy to be friends with anyone. Also have, of course, the 2 agency pages on Facebook. I can always be reached via email. It's just my name, traciebibb@allstate.com. More than happy to talk to anyone. I hope that I helped somebody, but if you do have questions, anything I can do, absolutely. And then, of course, thank you so much, Joe and Tony. It was great meeting you. Just an honor. Thank you.
Awesome.
Absolutely,
Well, I hope
thank
you
you
have
for
an
coming
amazing
on.
day. Yeah, it
You
was
too.
so good. It's been a long
Awesome.
time coming, Tracie. A long time coming. I'll tell you.
Yep. You need to come back up here and see the new pugs.
I know. I'm coming. I'll hit you up. I'm actually coming back pretty soon to come play lacrosse. So I will definitely hit you up. I'll have to do an office stop or something.
Come visit. We'll take you to lunch.
All right.
Right
I
on.
love it.
There you go.
Thanks,
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another Winning on Wednesday. We will let everybody get back to your day. Go out there and kill it. It is the peak of the week. It's not time to slow down. It's time to put it in overdrive and get to the weekend, right? We don't put all this time and effort into just to start phasing out halfway through. It's time to grind. So we will see y'all next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central. Thanks again.
And I'm gonna see y'all in Dallas. 8%, baby. We'll see y'all in Dallas
Coming
next
up
week.
soon.
Let's go. Have a good one, syndicate members. Love you guys. Later.
Insurance syndicate, make sure